welcome back to the Sunday special episode of the U Up Podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. We love a Sunday special, Jordana.
Can you believe it's Labor Day weekend?
I can't. I actually can't.
Flew
by. We're heading into fall. It is the, end of summer, quote unquote, but football season's here. This is meeting people season.
Yes. People pretend it's the summer, but really it's football season.
You're going to meet people in the summer. You're going to have
bar season.
Right. It's bar season. It's group season. It's in your city season. No travel. No excuses season. Because summertime you meet people and you go, I got this thing. I got this trip. I got this. And it creates space and enough space for you to think about it. And go, I don't know if I like that person. I don't know if I want to get off the couch. I don't know if I want to get dressed up. Now you're in the fall. You're out.
It's time.
It's time. The weather's good for not sweating on dates.
Yeah.
And feeling good. I think we generally, I think I'm at my most confident, clothing body-wise in the fall.
You're not freezing, so you're not wearing 17 layers.
Absolutely.
But you've got a cute little sweater on.
Cute sweater season,
You don't have to worry about every, your entire body being exposed constantly.
Right. And you can go layer a little bit.
Just having fun.
It's really, this is when you meet people. This is when you fall in love. This is when you fall in like. So this should be motivation to people out there. If you're single, if you're out there, we are here for you.
Yes, everyone is back in their city.
Right. I got the share house.
It's over.
It's over. You're done going to Montauk. You're going to stay in the city and you're going to date.
See you at the Ainsworth. Is that still a thing?
Ainsworth, Hair of the Dog. We're really showing our era.
I don't know. What is the new
our
spot?
Taylor Swift era.
What's the cool place?
Oh,
Candace, where are you going out?
I'm not from here. I'm still just going.
What are the kids doing these days? What?
This is her first time in New York.
Oh, yeah.
So she's gonna find out. Report back.
I've been going to Tao and Say Less, but I feel like Tao's kind of.
I don't know if you're going to Tao on football
everywhere.
Sunday.
Tao. I didn't see that coming.
I'm new here. I'm not a New Yorker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. she's exploring. She's in her exploring future, right?
Yeah, we need to find.
She's
Candace.
like, everyone in New York goes to Senor Frogs for football Sunday.
Right. I'll give a suggestion because we had the 37 and single release party.
Oh yes, Plug City. Let's do it.
Let's go to Plug City. We had a release party. We had a great time. Good drinks. Good people. People came out. It was less release party, more release
gathering.
Here I am.
Okay.
You can come and give me a pat on the back or not.
That's kind of like how you throw a birthday party in your late 20s or early 30s.
Right.
I'm going to this bar. I'll be there. If you want to be there too, that's where I'll be. Come or don't.
I've given you an option for a Saturday night. Yeah.
Right.
It's
never an official event. It's just kind of this is where I'm going to be if you want to show up there.
This is basically what I did. You're right. Bayard's Ale House, just like a neighborhood bar. People that work there, they got good bar food.
Yes.
A great Sunday football bar to meet people. That's what I would describe Bayard's as.
It's funny. You sent out the invitation. You made a little graphic.
I made a graphic.
And then the team was talking in Slack, and they were like, Jared probably should have asked us to make this.
I had a picture. Yeah. It's really a ridiculous.
It was funny.
It was very clip art.
We were talking shit about it in the Betches Slack.
Yeah,
it was great.
Listen, I got my passport holder gift. This really made me happy.
Good.
This is so nice. Glad. I'm truly touched.
I hope you don't have one already.
I don't. I'm feathered. We got the feather here.
And the picture. We want the picture.
in the picture of my phone. Listen, if you're out there, 37 singles still going. Basically, let you behind the curtains. People have been, I was told, the first month is what matters. So.
Oh, the whole month.
Yeah, the first 28 days.
Okay.
They're just basically that's when we
You guys can get in right under the wire if you haven't listened to it yet.
So if you haven't listened, watch, just have it on, turn it on again.
If you have listened to it, and this is how you just Googled Jared Freed and you discovered that he also hosts this podcast.
Mm-hmm. If you're new here,
If you're new here, welcome.
I like that. Welcome the new people because, Netflix offers us this platform to bring
New audiences.
new audience in. We are a modern dating podcast. We talk about the intersection of modern times in dating, of technology in dating. And honestly, we're here to have a fun, thorough conversation about the subject.
And just like in your special, you're going to let us into the mind of men.
And you the mind of a woman.
Yes.
And that's where we come in. And we're not speaking for everybody. We speak in generalities, and we try.
Exactly.
And we do something here today. We're gonna do it. And if you're out there, I'm on the road. I want you to go to my show. Colchester, Connecticut. When does this come out?
September 3rd.
Nope. I'm
Over.
Too late for you. I'll be there.
Yes. When will you be
for
there?
the long weekend. I'll be there. So I'm doing a show in a vineyard. Providence, Atlanta, Huntington, Seattle. Seattle sold out by now. Charlotte, Philadelphia, DC, Baltimore, Dania Beach, Florida, Portland, Oregon, Arizona, San Diego, Boston. Those are my dates. Jordana, anything coming up?
I have nothing. Such a loser. No,
it's okay.
There's probably 2 new. We haven't recorded them yet because we're recording this early. But there's 2 new meditations out on the Oversharing podcast, and you can listen.
And we play a game here called Petty or Prudent. So the game is you break up and you decide to do something after the breakup. Were you petty? Were you doing it to get at this person? Or were you prudent? Did it need to be done?
Good
we
question.
love petty.
Yes.
Love Petty or Prudent.
Love it.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, why don't you read it?
J&J, love the pod. I have a petty versus prudent for you. When my ex and I broke up after dating for 7 years and living together, I moved out of our house. Before I left, I asked him to go through everything and make sure he got the things that belonged to him from our shared space. That's when you know you're an ex. They don't even call it an apartment anymore. Remove your things from the shared space.
The shared space. Yeah, it's no longer a home. You did that.
Yeah. It took a few weeks for me to move out, so he had ample opportunity to collect his things. Upon my moving out, he texted me a list of things he thought were his that I had taken that he wanted back. I said, fine, come and get them. So you did take his things. And when he did, he used the opportunity to try to play me what had been our song on the guitar and give me a love letter. Oh, so he wanted her back.
Yeah. She says we broke up. She should have said I broke up with him.
Yeah, when my ex and I broke up. Yeah, this was or yeah, I mean, I guess the other assumption we can make, he cheated and he did something wrong.
Oh yeah, that's possible.
You know, that could be
good.
that
Sorry, I went to the place that she was the wrongdoer.
Yeah, listen, I am a feminist.
I know.
On the guitar, so he played our song on the guitar. Yeah, the only reason I go to him cheating or maybe that, I guess no, it could be she broke up with him. He was in love.
Yeah, he's trying to get her back.
He could be. I fucked up and I'm trying to get you back.
Or he just wants to make it work.
And so the opportunity to try and play me what had been our song on the guitar and give me a love letter. After that, I quit talking to him, asked him not to text me, and started to move on. A month later, I get a text asking if I had his passport. It's so random.
I know.
I couldn't imagine why I would have that.
Seems irresponsible. He doesn't know where his passport is.
Right. Aren't you? When's the trip? Assumed it was an attempt to reopen conversation and ignore the text. A week after that, I get the same text again asking about the passport. I was getting tired of seeing his name pop up on my screen. Had no intention of spending time looking for his passport. I surely didn't have. So I texted back, I looked, I don't have it. 2 months later, I was booking a trip where I needed my passport. And when I went to get it from my lockbox, there was his passport.
Asshole.
Hey, oops. So I took the passport, chucked it in the mailbox, and promptly blocked his number. So what do you think? Petty or prudent?
It seems petty.
Yeah, it's petty.
Yeah. She had the Okay, here's the thing. If she didn't actually have the passport, I would understand why she's like, he just keeps wanting to talk to me.
Oh, I'm so wonderful.
Right.
This guy.
But once you find it, you have to admit that you were petty. It was you're the crazy one.
Right. I'm starting to, now I know he didn't cheat.
Right. I also think it's kind of rude that she took the passport, put it in his mailbox, and blocked him. It's like why did you block him? He was
right.
You had the passport. You took the passport.
There's a thing in society right now. not to make this a societal issue, but I will. And she's doing something that really annoys me. She didn't
Gaslighting him?
Well, that, but take the loss.
Right. Say, I'm so sorry.
I'm
I
sorry.
actually did discover that I have your passport. I'm going to put it in your mailbox.
Right. Take the L.
Yeah.
I fucked up.
She's being an asshole.
She's being an asshole. She's being petty. Just, I mean.
Because she's the one who fucked. She did have the passport.
Right. And here's the thing. There's people out there, and this is why people go to the internet a lot of times. So, like, I need to find someone who agrees with me.
Right.
Someone out there will be like, yeah, fuck him. He's harassing you. And it's like, no, there's a story here that we just read.
Right. And it's not like something he could have just bought. It's not like, oh, do you have my shirt? Do you have my shirt?
This is like a major
legal document. Yeah.
that he
He
should
probably
have
already
a holder
honestly,
for.
he probably already had to order a new one.
Absolutely.
Because,
So it's over.
Right.
Like, I understand she's protecting herself if I'm to come to her most empathetic spot. She's like, I don't want to take the loss because that's vulnerability. Then that's a way for him to get in and be like, no, it's okay. Then I might feel like I made a mistake when I broke up with him and he's always been this sweet guy. And, I don't want to be... You're stronger than that is my message to her. You're stronger than getting, whipped into a frenzy of how nice he is. And now because I'm still single and there's no good dates and I'm getting all these assholes on dating apps. That's what she's doing. I mean, she's insecure about whether she could be wooed back into a relationship she knows isn't right for her.
Yeah. I mean, if I put myself in his shoes, I'm trying to tell the story from his side.
Right.
My girlfriend breaks up with me.
Yeah, she's a piece of
She
shit.
says I can take my stuff out of her house. I go into the house and I realize that she actually took a bunch of stuff that she broke up with me, and I realized she actually took a bunch of stuff my boyfriend broke up with me. He took a bunch of stuff. Some of it was mine.
Right.
So I asked him, he
didn't even deny it.
Right. Can I have my stuff back? Because I want my stuff, and we live together. So there's a fair amount of my stuff there. And then they say, oh, fine, come get it after they broke up with me. I go there and I get it. And I'm just making one last ditch effort to sort of find out why they broke up with me. I maybe, did something romantic, get shut down.
Right.
Fine. I leave. I realize I don't have my passport. I asked them, hey, guy who broke up with me, do you have my passport? No, I looked.
Right.
Then a few weeks later, they put it in my mailbox and block me. Like, to me, that's like a very sad story for me.
Absolutely. It's a story that, a guy might tell and I'm going to go, wow, she fucking sucks.
Right?
That's really, it is funny that like.
She didn't give any, unless there's some context where he did something really bad, but she didn't say that.
Right. I mean, good for her telling us the true story, because I don't think it could get any worse than that. She wasn't really kind to herself. She wasn't really like telling the story, but it is funny that it seems as though she's like, the tone of this email is like, I'm angry at him for wasting. We don't know what he did that she hates him about.
Right. Just besides still being into her.
Right. Why would you do this to me? Why would you love me?
Yeah.
And I think if there is no wrongdoing and he's the sweet guy that we're assuming he is, because I'm reading in this in a tone maybe that's not fair to her, but like it does feel like the tone is like, this guy won't fucking stop.
Right. He's obsessed with me.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it's so sad to me, because it's like, this is someone you lived with, so you like loved them at one time.
Right.
And this is sort of like what your relationship has come to. Whenever I see like a bad breakup, I'm just kind of like, there was a time when you guys like really liked each other.
Right. What? That's like that scene in Wedding Crashers. When they're like at the mediation in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, remember the good times, like.
Yeah, you had fun.
You had fun.
Right.
The wedding, shout a little bit softer now. Like it is interesting to think about like that. How do you get here?
Right.
And to me, the only thing that from this email to be angry about is you keep reminding me that I could be in the next phase of life and I said no to it.
Maybe that's why she's mad.
That's why she's mad, and she hasn't found that next phase.
There's this thing I think sometimes with women where like, and I've seen this before, where we talked about this also before, where women are kind of like, please change, please change, please change.
Right.
And the guy doesn't, and then they finally like feel like they have to break up with them because they've done this so many times. And then they even though they're the ones doing the breakup, they can still feel sort of like righteously angry because
Right.
it's like, you made me break up with you. You just wouldn't change.
Right. You wouldn't be a different guy.
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting. I like this one
Same.
because it's like we
'Cause she's
haven't had a
wrong.
petty.
Yeah. It's petty.
It's petty. Let's do an email.
All right. Hi, J&J, looking for a jury ruling on a recent dating scenario from the highest dating court.
Get
UA
out
Pod.
the gavels.
Judge J&J are here.
We're here.
I'm a 31-year-old single female who has been in the dating game for a long time.
That is her writing.
Yes, not me.
Yeah.
Recently, I've been leaning into friends setting me up more, and in early July, I went out with a guy a friend had said might be a good match. The date was fine, nothing bad, but nothing amazing, and at the end of it, he casually invited me to watch fireworks for the 4th in a couple of days.
Okay.
I already had tentative plans, so told him I probably couldn't make it, but would let him know. Sure enough, day of, I did have plans, and he responded with, no worries. Days go by, and I didn't hear from him, so just assumed this was a mutual ghosting. I should also disclaim that in the week after, I had some family and personal issues come up, so texting him wasn't at the forefront of my brain anyway. Whatever.
I don't like the tone. You can't say wasn't great but wasn't bad but wasn't amazing, and then go I have all this other stuff.
Right.
So
You don't need all that other stuff if you're not that into him.
Right. It's
yeah.
okay to just go. I didn't think of them to text.
Right. Usually in these dating scenarios where the first date is just average, I'm willing to go on a second date, but need the guy to either initiate a second date or continue to text me after. So when I didn't hear from him, I just assumed he was on the fence and it wasn't worth pursuing. Fast forward to a month later when this guy likes me on Hinge.
He's back.
I am the type of person who likes to call people on their BS. So I responded back to his like with, you have my number. He proceeds to text me and tell me that I had canceled our second date and didn't reschedule, so he assumed I wasn't interested. We go back and forth on details of what actually happened at the end of it. At the end of it, he sends me a long text on how to show interest in a guy. This is ending weirdly. It's weird, when you're like you build yourself into a fight with someone that you're kind of like, how did I get here?
Right. And this is like a version of Petty or Prudent.
Yes. So question, as someone who's been in the dating game a long time and never had this happen to me in similar scenarios, am I doing this all wrong? My personal defense is that we're both in our 30s and shouldn't have to do turn taking for initiating dates / showing interest. And clearly he had enough interest to like me on Hinge again. I would have appreciated a follow-up text, not necessarily scheduling a date, but at least a, how are you? I really enjoyed our date. Hope you're having a nice week. And maybe things could have progressed again from there. Having seen his lecture of a response at the end, see screenshot, I know he was not the guy for me anyway. I want someone who's willing to be straightforward about their interest in me, regardless of logistics, but it still makes me double think if I could be doing more going forward in my dating journey. Looking forward to your ruling. Sincerely, he likes me not. Okay.
So I'll be him.
Okay. And I'm her. So she cuts off her message, as people do.
Right.
But I'll read the end of it. Something about pursued it and said you liked me via text on my on my Hinge. Little too late, but we live and learn. Nice meeting you and good luck out there.
Okay, so he writes, LOL, period. I was randomly swiping on an app and clicked a heart. Who knows when this was, by the way. It's not a both ways thing, just for your own knowledge. If you cancel a date on a guy, never text him again to try and set up something else. Any guy with any self-respect is not going to keep hounding you and begging to hang out again. I'm trying to help you here.
Oh, I wish he left that out.
Right. Even now, all you had to say was, I got volleyball tomorrow, unfortunately. What's your Friday like? Try that next time if you have any interest in a guy.
And then she says, thanks for the advice, whatever. And then it got cut off. I assume that was a passive aggressive, thanks for the advice.
Right. I mean, this is like oil and water.
Yeah. This is not going to, this is almost a blessing because you find this, to have this fight. They could have had this fight 3 weeks into dating.
Right. And there was no sex had, and also they were fixed up. So there's there's people at play. And
which makes it even weirder.
Even
now everyone's
weirder.
going to hear this story.
Well, it seems like two people who are fed up with being single. It's actually a blessing for the whole country that these two didn't get together because it's like two assholes
Yeah.
They both sound like
They both
assholes.
kind of suck.
They both, in
Yeah.
this situation,
Right.
I'm thankful they
you're-
listened. I'm thankful they wrote in.
Because they're both very like principled in this
Right.
entire thing over things that don't really need to be that principled. He's like, let me give you some dating advice. Here's how you treat people.
Listen
And
here, toots.
And she's
Yeah.
also, but she's complaining about it. But she's also like, let me give you some advice. Like, I need to be like pursued and texted multiple times by a
Right.
person who's trying to date me.
Right. And I mean, like, even the nice meeting you and good luck out there with an exclamation point. Like, I don't like that.
A little passive aggressive.
Little passive aggressive. She knows what she's doing. You can
Right.
say, well, what? But we know.
Here's
you
the
know.
thing. I do agree that if someone asks you to do something, you're
Mhm.
busy, totally fine. If you're interested in seeing them, I think you can propose something else. That's what I would do if I liked someone. I
But
do agree with that.
We are burying the lead. Like,
Sure.
to me, that wasn't what they're discussing isn't the problem. It starts at you disappeared. Like, as a person who's out there, the idea of like, we had a date, it was fine. We tried to make a second, but really didn't try that hard, and it didn't work out. And the name went down the screen of text, so you lost it. Fine. You
Fine.
both didn't think of each other. You both didn't.
I mean, he did ask her out again.
He did, and she said, I'm kind of busy.
Right.
Leave it at that. And then he took the loss. He goes, she's not really proposing a Friday, as he said.
Right.
So I guess the
That's
assumption
what I'm
I'm
saying.
making.
I can understand on his end why he's like, she said no, didn't propose anything else. And so
Right.
I'm assuming she's not interested. I don't think he's like, oh, if you liked her enough, you would hound her down. Like,
Right.
I think we had an email last week from someone who was like saying the guy wouldn't get the hint.
Right. I don't
The
even.
thirsty or not from last week.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't even. The idea
I
of
see what
like
you're saying. It's
men
like all
shouldn't
besides
do,
the point.
It's
Yeah.
besides the point, because all it is to me is these are two people on a fine date. He then pursues Ish to do this fireworks thing. She goes, I got plans with friends.
Right.
No, how about next week? Then sees her on the app.
Mhm.
He's still attracted. They had a fine date. This was his way of, here's a
Window tap.
He gives a little window tap. He likes. She says he didn't write a message, right?
Right.
And so he likes. I can
She
understand.
responds to the like, right.
Well, then she responds to like, kind of not really, like, someone has to break. So when that like happens, it's him going, eh? And then you come back with, don't you have my what did you write?
You have my number.
You have my number. We're already on the bad foot. That's the point where someone has to choose to be playful.
Right.
I don't think it's all her responsibility. Again, they both sound like dicks. But when you go, you have my number, instead of like, look who's back. Sorry about I guess the fireworks didn't work out. How you been? There's just a friendlier way. And to me,
It's contentious off the bat.
and you've challenged him. Well, you better bring it when you go, you have my number.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody, everyone's got their fists up. So you put your fists up right away. And then he probably moved to text. Now, again, you're discussing what happened instead of like,
Discussing
who cares?
going, all right. That's what I'm saying. If you
I-
both liked each other, someone would just be like, let's just go out.
Right. And I think they both wanted to win. And again, he sounds bad. His text
Because it's
doesn't-
harder to say. It feels like you don't want to, like you talk about, like you don't want to throw away leftovers. You don't want to throw away something that feels like could have been an option. So you're kind of like, let me make it work, but have a bad attitude about it.
Right.
Or let me you know what I mean? Let me get into it.
Right.
But obviously it's not going to work that way.
No, it was never going to work from, you have my number. Is that what she said she wrote?
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's a crazy thing. Not crazy, but
But it's also like she's saying she
you have
wants
my
such
number.
a specific thing. She goes, I would have appreciated a follow-up text, not necessarily scheduling a date, but at least a how are you? I really enjoyed our date. Hope you're having a nice week. It's like, if you would have appreciated that, why didn't you pick another date to go out with this person?
right. And well, also, she's basically like, you didn't get the magic password.
Right.
know,
like,
like,
how the
what-
fuck is he supposed to know that
Right.
that's what she wanted instead of just not being interested in a date?
Right. Think of him experiencing this whole thing with like the lights off, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, again, to put myself in his shoes, I'm doing that
Right.
a lot today with men. I go on a date.
I like this.
I
Yeah.
offer, I ask someone if they want, right after the date, if they want to do something else. They say, I'm not sure if I might have plans. To me, kind of insulting. The day of.
Not even insulting. Kind of a stiff arm.
Fine. They're
I'm
not
going to think about it.
Right. Yeah. They're not sure. Then I ask them, I do another round of trying. I ask them
Right.
on the day of, hey, like, if you're free, let's do. Turns out that day she gets plans. So
Right.
clearly she wants to go after. I would be like, okay, this person, like, if they are interested,
I'm not
they'll text
I'm not gonna
me.
bother this person.
Yeah.
You do get to that point.
That's
where
what
you're
I'm
like,
saying. Like, I could totally understand. I think to say, how are you? I really enjoyed our date. Hope you're having a nice week. A lot of people who have done what she did with the second date I would assume would be like, oh, this guy's texting me again.
Right. Right. And
How are you?
when you send a like, hey, I'm just letting you know. Friendly.
Yeah, I don't think he
You
did
know,
anything wrong here, personally.
This
really.
has been a real pro man
I mean,
episode
listen,
of the U Up podcast.
until he's-
Men.
not
Dudes.
not exactly, because I do think his text to her was a little condescending.
Well, he's
in
trying to
terms of,
get-
like,
yeah, he is
I'm
trying to
trying
win.
to help you out here. Here's
What a
how you
dick.
date.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I think he could have just said, put it in his own terms.
Right.
I think he was fine when he said, if you get, like, I don't think he said if you cancel on a date with a guy. I think you could say, when you canceled on me, I
Right,
assume
right.
that you weren't interested in me. He doesn't have to make it about her, like the way that everyone else interprets her actions. He could just
Right.
say the way he interpreted her actions. And I think that would have made him a lot more sympathetic. He's a little condescending. I agree.
I agree with everything you said. The minute you start writing your own dating blog instead of an actual like
But so
message to the
doesn't it-
person about your own self, that you've gone off,
Right.
the page. Here's the other thing. She gave us a screenshot of just his text. We don't know how he got here.
That's true.
Like, we have no idea how it turned into, let me teach you something, toots. Like, that isn't
right.
I
she
mean,
might be cherry picking the text.
it feels a little bit that way. We don't know, but this is all to say, again, like, you didn't want to see this guy and you wanted to teach it. She wanted to teach him a lesson as much as he's doing it in his text.
Right. I'm just saying, I don't understand why she needs to like blame him for like
Right.
the fact that she's just not that interested. She said it herself. I wasn't that interested.
Here's the reason. They have the friend in common. So
Okay, and they
she's
feel like
trying
the
to like,
pressure to make it work.
I think they're both trying to make sure the friend agrees with them that their other person was a piece of shit. Like, because they know the story's getting told.
Right.
So they want to make sure that, again, she's gone to the judge, J&J. The real judge that they're worried about is the friend in common, because they've been fixed up. A story's going to come back to that friend, and both of them have a bad story.
It's a good point.
So right now they're in, we need to win the story
Right.
debate, which makes them both lose. When you're trying to win in dating, you're going to lose.
Totally agree. Moral of the story, you both suck.
That's right.
Thanks for writing in. Thank you for writing in.
Please use the promo
No.
codes on the ads this episode to prove you don't suck. We did it again. We solved dating.
We did it. Proud of us. And we'll be back on Wednesday with a regular episode.
Dudes.
Okay, I don't co-sign that. Girl power.
That's right.
And all that.
We love the Barbie movie.
And Taylor Swift. Bye. The You Up podcast is produced by Jorge Morales-Pico, Sean Kilby, and Candice Maniga. Editing by Jorge Morales-Pico and Shannon Sassone. Social media by Candice Maniga. Guest booking by Ali Friedlander. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.